Hey there. As an early startup, one of the most pivotal moments of your life as an entrepreneur is getting those first customers. Those people who trust you, those people who believe in you, and those people who put their money where their mouth is. People who start paying you. The very aspect of getting the first customers into your startup is perhaps one of the biggest moments of an entrepreneur's and that startup's life, because it proves a few things. It proves that the product that they're offering is valuable to at least one person, and it is so valuable that they're willing to pay for it, and it is so valuable that it helps them solve one or more of their problems. Here are the five aspects of or challenges that I have faced as an entrepreneur in getting those early customers. The first is obviously building credibility and trust. As a startup, as an entrepreneur, unless you personally know the person who is going to be your customer, it is an important aspect or a difficult aspect for you to prove your credibility and evoke a sense of trust in the other person. All of Zena's customers, all of my customers who were one of my earliest, were people who I did not know prior to that relationship, were people who were connected through me or to other people who had referred them to me. It is an amazing feeling, and since I came to this country without knowing anyone, it was quite an enriching experience to get those first customers and getting into negotiations with them and signing that first contract. Building credibility is obviously not a one time process, it is an ever evolving process. And I'm so happy that all of my early customers are still my customers even after so many years. And I would like to attribute that to the fact that obviously we have helped them solve a big pain point months and years again. And the personal relationship that I have built with them and the gratefulness that hopefully I've been able to show them along the way. But that remains one of the greatest challenges as an early stage entrepreneur while getting your first customer. The second is identifying and reaching the target audience. It is a pretty common anecdote as a startup founder. You try to talk to as many of your potential customers as possible, regardless of their size, regardless of their demographic, in the hopes that along the way you would recognize who the perfect ICPs or ideal customer profiles are. I went through the journey, and I'm sure every single startup owner goes through that journey, where you think that a certain segment of your SAM or serviceable market is your customers. But in fact, as you talk to more people, as the rubber hits the road, as you get more feedback from the market, you kind of realize that you have a particular niche of target segment that is perfect for you and that you should be focusing on. And that is a challenge, because early on you will get a lot of different feedback, solicited or otherwise, regarding who you should be targeting. But you have to depend on your gut feeling and the fact that you know what you're doing to kind of plow ahead and get to that state where you identified who your target market is. Which moves on to my third challenge, which is finding the product market fit. It is a term, a phrase that is thrown around so casually, especially in pitches and in discussions with investors, where they ask you, have you found your product market fit? Basically, have you found the market in which your product solves the most pressing problems that they have? The reality is that, again, as we explore more customer segments, as we talk to more people, we realize that the problem that we may have been pursuing in the beginning may not be the one that is in the need of solving. And it may be a factor of the competition as well, where you have all these companies, all these other organizations trying to solve the same pain points that you are, because it is pressing enough. But the challenge for you comes in, one, identifying the product market fit; second, identifying the product segment; and third, is identifying the unique way in which you are trying to solve that problem. That uniqueness could come in the form of low prices, extra features, or just the way that you market your products. And that is the third challenge. The fourth is resource constraints. You are a startup, you have to most often bootstrap or have very limited resources in your kitty to experiment and to put yourself out in the market. And I think that's one of the greatest challenges for a startup, where you don't have the resources or the contacts or the Rolodex of 1,000 people, where you can just go on and see what works. And within the limited resources, especially financial resources and time constraints, you as an entrepreneur and your team are expected to find the product market fit, to find the right customers, to find the right product, and keep evolving the product to keep one step ahead of the competition and of the market, while at the same time recognizing that the pain point that you're trying to target may disappear in the moment's notice, or may be overtaken or taken over by a larger company who might have more resources than you to fulfill the needs of the customers who you're targeting. And finally, perhaps one of the greatest challenges as a startup entrepreneur dealing with early stage customers is finding the right price. Like I've always said, I've been a very bad negotiator. I'm not a good salesperson. I build my relationships. I take them very personally and very strongly when I speak to people, when I build and nurture those relationships. And hence the conversation of pricing was very challenging for me, because at that time, since you're pretty early, you're not exactly sure the value that you would be providing them. You may underestimate them, you may overestimate them, both of which is a bad call for you and your startup. And so just the fact that you're unsure of the what the real value is and what the impact it will have on those early customers, you may often end up pricing yourself either to all the way down to zero, or to a very nominal fee, just in the hopes that you can just get a foothold in that organization or get a few case studies under your belt, so that as you grow you can price more correctly and more accurately in those discussions as you go, especially when you deal with larger organizations where pricing is an issue, or smaller organizations where they are very inflexible, since they themselves are resource constrained. So I have been through all those. It's not that I've learned or I've become an expert in pricing, but I've kind of known to realize that you need to appreciate the value that you provide to your customers. And as you get more customers, both big, small, within your ICPs, beyond your ICPs, regardless of that, you kind of get a sense of the real value that you provide. And as you hone in on your ICPs or ideal customer profiles, you would be able to accurately define the exact value that your service provides, that your product provides. And you will be able to have that pricing conversation be a quick a conversation, as opposed to a lengthy drawn out negotiation battle that might have been ensued in the beginning of your startup career. So these are the 5 different aspects of early stage customer acquisitions, or the challenges rather, that I have faced. With every new customer that you sign, you obviously get more confidence. You are more sure of the value that you would be providing them, and you'd be able to better answer, or get better in answering some of the commonly asked questions that potential customers may have. I've been very fortunate to have worked with over 50 brands, have so many people place their trust in me, large brands, small brands, everyone in between, especially given the fact that most of the brands who we used to work with began from scratch. We were able to build them into what they are right now. And I'm very glad of the trust that they've placed in me. And the whole process of customer acquisition has been quite a learning experience for me. And I'm sure it is for all the entrepreneurs that are out there.